See, already we discussed about the automated cloud flows and scheduled cloud flows in the previous classes. And now in today's session, we are going to discuss about the instant cloud flows, guys. Now see, what is this instant cloud flows? What is this? What is the definition of this instant cloud flows? Already we know that what is the when to go and use this instant cloud flows means these flows are used to these flows are used to automate automate the repeated work, or these flows are used to automate the workflows automate the workflows based on the or these are used to automate the workflows manually by tapping a button, manually by tapping or by clicking a button, manually by tapping or clicking a button. See here guys, what is the functionality of this instant flows means these are used to automate the workflows manually by tapping or by clicking a button. So already we discussed about automated flows. What is this automated flows? Whenever an item is created, whenever the item is updated or deleted in the SharePoint list, not only SharePoint, any data source it is, we discussed how to perform it. Next we discussed about scheduled flows. So basically whenever if you want to run the flows up, but at what date and time, let's say if you want to send the birthday wishes to the employees, so in this case you need to go and schedule it. Whenever if you want to send the anniversary wishes to the employees, you can go and schedule it. And whenever if you want to send the report to the manager every day if you want to send the report to the manager at particular date and time, then you can go and use the scheduled flows. And now in today's session we'll discuss about what instant cloud flows, when to go and use this instant cloud flows. These are used to automate the workflows manually by tapping a button whenever it is required for us. Whenever if you want to run the flow manually by tapping some button, then only go and use this instant cloud flows. Now see how to go and work with this instant flows, what are the different scenarios will be there, we'll discuss now in today's session. So in order to go and work with the instant flows, the first one we are going to discuss here is we'll discuss about the first scenario is how to send the emails to the students. Let us say I have an institute, AV trainings is my institute. So I want to send the emails to the students manually by clicking a button. If I click one button, automatically I want to send one email to all the students, guys. So this is what my first requirement. So for this I'm having one list in the SharePoint. First let me go and open the Power Automate. First let me go and open what? Power Automate. Let me open the Power Automate and let me go and open the SharePoint. Now see, in the SharePoint there is one list called students. So in this list I am having the students data, guys. Student number, name, mobile number, email ID, and course, which course the student is looking. So I'm having some data for the students. So students data is there. Now what is my requirement here is by using the Power Automate, by clicking on a button, if I click any button, automatically I want to send one email to all the students in this list. So this is what my requirement. So instantly whenever I required, I need to go and click that button. Whenever I click on that button, it need to send one email to the students. So for this, let me go to the Power Automate and go to the create tab. Now what I want, which flow I want to create now, I need to go and click on create what flow, instant cloud flow. So select the instant cloud flow. If you see, when I go with the instant cloud flow, what is the symbol it is showing? Click button, clicking. Whenever if you want to run the flow by clicking some button, by tapping a button, then go and select what? Instant cloud flows. Select the instant cloud flow. Now it is asking us to pass the flow name. Let me keep the flow name as instant email to the students. This is the flow name I'm keeping. Now where I want to create this flow means I want to create this flow in the Power Automate itself. Manually create it, manually trigger a flow button for mobile. So just click on it. I want to create this button in the Power Automate itself. Let me go and click on it and create. Click on create. Now it is taking to the new designer. Switch to the old designer. Now see, manually trigger a flow. Now see, whenever I click on this button in the Power Automate, what is the action I want to take? Go and add the new step. What's the step I want to do? I want to send an email. Before sending the email, first of all, I want to get the items. Get the items from where? From the SharePoint. So get the items from the SharePoint list. Get the items from the SharePoint. So what is the site address? Let me select the site as Power Automate Flows. What's the list name? Select the list name as students, and then go and add new step. Now what's my step? Once after connecting to the data source, next I want to send an email. Send an email to the students. Send an email. So go and select here what? Send an email through Outlook. By using Outlook, I want to send the emails to the students. So to whom I want to send? To all the students, whoever is there in this SharePoint list. For all the students I want to send. So go and add the dynamic content, guys. If you add any student details here, any student email ID, to that student only it will send it. But I want to send the emails to all the students, whoever is there in this list. So go to the dynamic content and select what? Email. So when I select the email, automatically it is applying one step. What is the step? Apply to each. Apply to each means each and every, whatever the data is there in this list, for each and every student I want to send the email. So it is going to send the email for each and every student. For each and every student it is going to send. So it is going to apply to each. Next, subject. What is the subject? Let us say I want to send the email to the students recording one course details. Let us say I'm sending here update on Power Apps demo. Update on Power Apps demo. Hi, I want to make this as dynamic. I want to mention the student name here. Hi, whatever the name of the student. Hi, whoever the student is. I need to mention here the student name. Hi, let me keep here. We are from Analytics Benchmark. Hi, we are from Analytics Benchmark. We are from Analytics Benchmark. Let me keep it in the bold. Let us say this Saturday, this Saturday, this Saturday, we have the Power Apps demo. We have the Power Apps demo. Please, let me keep it like this. This Saturday we have the Power Apps demo at morning, 11 a.m. at morning 11 a.m. IST Indian standards. So please join the demo session using the below link. So please join the demo session using the below link. So the link I'm going to copy and paste it here, guys. Let me go to the Power Automate uh, meetings. Just copy this link. I'm going to paste it here. This is the meeting link he need to use to join the session. And let me keep it in some color. Let me keep this color. And next, let me change the color to black. Next, thanks AB trainings. Thanks AB trainings. Let me keep this in the bold, and also let me keep here it in the bold. We have the Power Apps demo at morning 11 a.m. IST. So please join the demo session using the below link. Using the below link. So please join the session. Meeting link I'm keeping here. So now just go and save the flow. Once after it, it's only 3 steps, guys. Manual, I want to trigger it, get the items from the SharePoint and send the email. In this email, just I'm composing something regarding the Power Apps demo. Next, go and save the flow. Let me check whether the flow is having any errors or not. Let me check the flow. The flow is ready to go. The flow is ready to go. Now test it manually. Click on test. Now it is taking some permissions from the SharePoint and the Office Outlook. Click on continue. Click on run flow. Now click on done. Now see, it is telling that your flow is running. The flow is running now. It is sending the emails. Let now see the flow is your flow runs successfully. Your flow runs successfully. Let me go on my open my Gmail, guys. Now see, here I am having my email Venkichalla 1995. Let me go and open my Gmail account and let me check I have received the email or not. Yes, I received the email. So what is that email? What is that subject? Update on Power Apps demo. Hi Venki, we are from Analytics Benchmark. This Saturday we have the Power Apps demo at morning 11 a.m. IST. So please join the demo session using the below link. Please join my meeting from your computer laptop. What is the meeting link? This is the meeting link. Thanks AB trainings. So like this, whenever it is required. So now just go and click on that button. Now go to the Power Automate. If you go to the flows, whatever the flow we created, we are able to see that flow here now. Let it open. Now see, this is the flow. What type of flow it is? It is instant flow. Now see, now when I click on this run, automatically it is going to run the flow now. Now just click on run flow. Now click on done. Now again, if I go and check, if I refresh my email, I will receive another email. Still it is not received. Maybe it will take some time. Now see, I received another email. The same I am getting. Now whenever it is required, I can go and just click on this button. When I click on this button, what it will do, on select of this button, automatically this flow will run. Whenever we run this flow, it is going to send one email to the students, those who are there in that list. So this is what instant cloud flows gets instantly when it is required. See, until and unless we go and click on this run button, this flow doesn't run. When this flow will run, on select of this button, run button, then only this flow will run. So this is one of the scenario where we need to go and use this instant flow sketch. And another scenario is regarding the Power Apps demo. So whenever I want to send the email to the students regarding the Power Apps demo, manually by tapping a button, we discussed here how to perform it. So whenever if I require to send the email to the students regarding the Power Apps demo, how to send the emails manually by tapping a button, just now I discussed. And the second scenario we are going to discuss here is, submit the data to the SharePoint, submit the data to the SharePoint using Power Automate. By using Power Automate, how to submit the data to the SharePoint, we'll understand now. So now see here guys, basically to submit the data to the SharePoint, we'll use the Power Apps. We'll create a form to submit the data. But now I need to go and use the Power Automate in order to go and submit the data to the SharePoint. Now how to submit the data to the SharePoint list by using the Power Automate we'll discuss. Now see, this is the list I'm having. Into this I want to insert one new row. Now I want to insert the new row by using what? I want to insert the new row by using the one of the flow, that is instant cloud flows. That is instant cloud flows. Let me go and click on what? Instant cloud flows. Now see, the flow name I'm keeping here is Power Automate to Power Automate to SharePoint. Or let me keep it like this. Create an item. Create an item in SharePoint using Power Automate. This is the flow name I'm keeping. Create an item in the SharePoint using the Power Automate. Now in order to go and perform this, just go and click on what? Manually trigger a flow. Select the trigger as manually trigger a flow. Once after this, let me switch to the old design. Now let me add one new step here, guys. Before adding the new step, if you go to the manually trigger a flow, here you can add some input values. Let us say I'm adding the sum of the inputs here, guys. Choose that type of user input. So let me select that. Here we have the different types of values you can enter into the Power Automate. This is the text values, yes or no, Boolean data type values, files you can upload, some email data type, number data type, and data type columns. So let me add one text here. So let me pass the column name. So what is the first column I'm having here is student number. If you see what is the first column in this list, student number. Now let me go and add the second column. Second column is also a text column, text data type. The column name is student name. Let me add another column. That column name is what? Third column is what? Mobile. Let me go and add the column name as mobile. Next, another one more column, text column, that is email ID. And next, one more column I want to add, that is course column. So these are the columns I'm having in the SharePoint list, guys. Student number, name, mobile, email, and course. These are the columns I'm having in the list. Now I want to insert the data into this list by using what? Power Automate. So I'm creating some fields here in the Power Automate. So not only text columns, guys. If you want to change this data type, or if you want to change it to any choice columns, means you can change it. If you go to this drop down, course is a choice column. If you want to change it to course, a choice column, you can go and keep here some drop down as a list. You can multi-select, make the field as optional. So you can keep these three items here. So I don't want to keep anything. I want to go with only text. If you want to keep it as a drop down, you can keep. If you want to keep it as a multi-select, you can keep it here, but I don't want to keep it. For now I'm adding this. These are the fields I want to insert into SharePoint list. First create the fields, and then next go and add the new step. What is the step I want to add here is create an item. Where I need to go and create the item? I need to create an item in the SharePoint. So select the SharePoint, create an item in the SharePoint. Now see, here you need to pass the site address and list name. Let me pass the site address. Let me pass the site address as what? Power Automate flows. Next one is list name. What is the list name? Students is the list. Select the list name, and then go and click on this. Once if you enter the student list name, once if you select the list name, immediately you are able to see all the columns in that list. You are able to see. Why? Because I want to create an item. To create an item, you want to enter the data into these fields. What data I want to enter? Whatever the data I'm going to enter into these fields, into the student number, student name, mobile, email, and course, these values I need to go and enter into the SharePoint list. So student number, what is the student number? S number. So whatever the values I declared previously in the previous step, those values I want to keep it here. Mapping is. So whatever I'm going to enter here at the time of running the flow, those values I want to map to the SharePoint list. This is called as mapping. Now let me go and map here. I want to map the student number with the student number and student name. Go and select here the student name. This is the fields I created in the previous step. Student name. Next, mobile number. Go and select here the mobile number. Next, email ID. What is the email ID mapping? Go and select the email ID here. And next, finally, course. What's the course? Go and select the course. This is called as mapping. What I'm doing here is whatever the items or whatever the values I'm going to enter into these fields, those values I want to map it here. Student number. These are the columns in the list. Now into student number column, what value I want to assign? I want to assign these values. So just map it. Once after mapping is done, now you need to go and save the flow, guys. Only two steps. How to enter the data into the SharePoint list using the Power Automate. Through Power Automate, how to submit the data to the SharePoint. Previously we discussed, we go to the Power Apps. In the Power Apps, we know that how to create one app. Now in the Power App, you can go and create one app. Now by using that app, you can submit the data to the SharePoint. So already we discussed how to submit the data to the SharePoint from Power Apps and how to connect the Power Apps to the SharePoint. So already we discussed how to insert the data into the SharePoint. This is not the one, I think. Let me go back. This is, I think, AB trainings. Already we discussed it. We can go and create a form in the Power Apps. Through that form, we can submit the data into this SharePoint. Next, we discussed about how to submit the data to the SharePoint by using this form. So you can go and create some forms here. So here I am building one form. By using the form, you can go and submit the data to the SharePoint. So for now, I don't want to submit the data to the SharePoint using this Power Apps forms case. I want to submit the data into the SharePoint list by using what? Through Power Automate. From Power Automate, how to submit? First of all, I need to go and create some fields. See here, I'm creating some fields here. Once after creating the fields, whatever the data I'm entering into these fields, I'm going to enter that data I want to insert into a SharePoint list. Now, once first save the flow, only 2 steps. Once after saving the flow, go and click on what? Test. Test the flow. Manually test the flow, guys. Click on test. Now see, when I click on test, now it will ask us to pass some permissions. So it is directly taking the SharePoint permissions. Click on continue. Now see, we need to pass the values to those fields: student number, student name, mobile, email ID. We created some fields in this manually trigger flow, right? Here into pass. Let us say student ID is 105. Student name, let me keep here. Let us say ABD is the student name, or let me keep here Stark. And mobile number, let me pass some random mobile number. Email ID, what is the email ID? Let me pass some email ID, guys. Next, course, what is the course he is looking for? Let us say the course I'm entering here is Power BI, or let me keep here Power Apps. Now let me click on the run flow. Now when I click on this run flow, what happens? Whatever the data I'm entering into these fields, this data is going to be assigned to the values, whatever the fields I created here, and whatever the fields I created here, in these fields, this data is available. Now this data is going to be created in where? In the SharePoint list. So let's just click on what? Run flow. Now when I click on the run flow, now see, just go and click on done, guys. When I click on done, now see it is giving a message your flow run successfully. So 2 tick marks. So how much time it is taking to go for the next step also it is clearly mentioning. Now go to the SharePoint. Now see, just go and refresh it. Still is not received. Yes, now I'm getting this record. This is the record just now inserted. Student number is what? 105. Stark, name is Stark, mobile number, email ID, and what's the course he is looking for? Power Apps. Like this, if you want to run, yeah, or if you want to insert the data into the SharePoint through Power Automate, how to go on and create a record in the SharePoint by using the Power Automate. Simple. This is the flow case. Now, whenever if you go and click on this button, now see, whenever this is the instant flow button. Whenever I run this, when I click on this run, now see, automatically is asking us to pass the values to those fields. Let's say now I'm passing the employee as 106. Next, employee name. Let's say I'm entering here Maxwell. Next, what is the mobile number? Let's say I'm passing some random mobile number. Next, what's the next value? Email ID. What's the email ID? Maxwell@gmail.com. I'm passing some random email IDs. Next, course. What course does what course he is looking for? Let's say the course he is looking for is SQL Server. Now just click on run flow. Now click on done. Now when I click on it, now you can go and check the run history. Now how many times I run this flow? 2 times. Test succeeded. So 2 times it is run. Both the times it is success. Now see, let me go and check. Let me refresh the data. Let me check whether I have received the new record or not. 106. Name is Maxwell. Just wait, it will take some time. Yes, now it is inserted. Now see what's the record? 106 student number, Maxwell, mobile number, email ID, and what's the course key is looking for. Like this, into the SharePoint list directly you can go and enter the data from here, edit in grid view. You can enter the data, or you can click on this new option. It will open same form like structure. You can enter the data here, or you can submit the data to the SharePoint through Power Apps. By using the Power Apps forms, you can enter the data into the SharePoint list. Now, most of the people know that how to go and submit the data SharePoint using Power Apps. Within the SharePoint itself, how to go and enter the data. But here we discuss now how to create a record in the SharePoint through Power Automate. By using Power Automate, how to go and create a record. So this is what how to go and perform the, or how to go and create a record in the SharePoint through Power App, through Power Automate. In the Power Automate itself, I need to go and create one form like structure. By using that, I need to go and submit that data to the SharePoint list. So this is what how to go and work with the instant flows case. There are, see, if you go here, when I go and click on create, when I go to the instant flows, so instant flows are available. These are the data sources it can support for now. So it can manually trigger in the Power Automate, Power Apps. You can select Power Virtual Agent. You can go with it. In the Teams, there are 3 sources you can support. In the Power BI, also you can create one button. So there are different sources will be there. In the SharePoint, also see, for a selected item in the SharePoint, whenever if you select any item, automatically what the flow you want to run. So like this, there are some few data sources where the instant flows can be run. So you can use any one of this, but the functionality is same. So this is all about what is this instant flows, and all instant flows are used for what? To run the flows manually whenever it is required. And these are the 2 scenarios where we can go and use the instant flows. So these are the different types of flows we are having. Guys, we discussed about the automated flows. Automated flows and scheduled flows are important. This instant flows, rarely we will use it. This instant flows will be used in the client's perspective of view. Whenever the client have any issues, or the client wants to contact with the developers or to the managers, in this case, just they will click on one button, automatically they can interact with us. So this type of flows will be there. Totally how many types of flows? 3: automated cloud flows, scheduled cloud flows, and instant cloud flows. There are 3 different types of flows is there. So we're done with the flows. From the next class onwards, we'll discuss about some of the few concepts in the Power Automate. Fine. Let me stop here. We'll discuss from here in the next class. Thank you.